It is Tuesday, February 25th, 2025, and we're here at a monthly department head meeting. And I will start going around the room we'll start with the transfer station. Just go ahead and state your name. What we're going to do is, just for the audience, state your name and your department before you. Yeah.
So Richard Brenner, Solid Waste Director. Yeah, everything's going pretty good. We did put out the bid for the river bins this year. We'll see what comes of that. We've gotten a couple calls from out-of-state companies, so we'll see how that works, anyways. But yeah, other than that, we're just burning, and we definitely had a little bit more burning this year than we did last year, just because of weather. We're still having stuff coming in. But yeah, other than that, going pretty good.
Now the river bins, aren't we? We're going to start doing those ourselves, right? No.
No, the quotes that came back on the bins were way over what we had anticipated, and there's just no way we can do it. So, sorry about that. So we put it out to bid to have the service, just like it has been in the past.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate
So.
it. Was that that didn't come through our board? It just was that. Did you hear about that? Did that come through Dave or?
Yeah, through Dave and Colleen. We brought it up. Money-wise, the money wasn't there. The cost of the bins was substantial.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Roads Department.
Jessica Studsky, Public Works Director. We're in the midst of our winter operations, end of winter operations. We are dealing right now currently with this warm-up that we've had and the rain that we've had. We're dealing with some pretty significant issues with rocks coming down on the road, mudslides, some washouts. The rocks on the road have been really prevalent in the Marble Creek District, on St. Joe River Road, pretty much along the whole length of it. So it's been kind of a 7-day-a-week operation for the staff down there to make sure that the road is safe and travelable for the public. They've been doing a really good job. Just got notified this morning by Forest Service that there was a slide way up the river up here in the Murray District, and it looks like our guys had a handle on that. But we're starting to see it, and with the freeze thaw, and then we get the fast warm up, that's pretty normal for what we'll see. We're just making plans to take care of it as it comes in. So that's kind of what we've been working on, the last week or so. Keeping an eye on the ice breakup. It's starting to break up on St. Joe River, and so that's something that we'll keep a close eye on. Right now it's just kind of normal water in the lower lying areas, but we're not under any major flood type warnings or anything like that, but we worry about ice jams and when that starts to move. So that seems to be happening this week. So we'll just keep a close eye on that down there. Still dealing with understaffing issues in the Smelterville district as well as the Osborne district. We have one open position in the Osborne district, and we have 2 open positions in the Smelterville district. So, we've been doing the best we can with the staff that we have. Sometimes we're a little slow to get the sand on the road, particularly in the Smelterville district, but overall we've been keeping up fairly well. We've been heavily relying on our temps, and they've been managing okay. A little update, Commissioner Zimmerman and I have been working on the issue that has been ongoing on Dawson Pass with the semi-trucks that have been trying to go over and getting stuck on the Beaver Creek side. And any given year, we see a handful of people who try to go for it and try to make their way over Thompson Pass for whatever reason, and something changed this year. Our signage had not changed, our operations had not changed. Something changed this year with the trucking, whether it was with dispatch or the GPS, we're not sure. We tried dozens of phone calls, emails. Commissioner Zimmerman did work with ITD. I've been working with ITD. We did get some updates put on their 511 app that they have that a lot of the GPS pulls information from. So we're hoping that we'll see a shift in that. We thought we had it under control when they did the hard closure on Thompson, but then they would get up there and then they would just try to get down over Dobson, and they'd hit the first couple of corners and that was it. That's been really problematic. Huge safety issue for the public, huge issue for bus routes, because we would have to get a hold of the transportation department for the Wallace School District. They have to go all the way up through Kingston and do their route up in the Murray area. So it was definitely creating a huge issue for them. We had an incident with one of our sanding trucks that, the semi was in the road and there was a little bit of contact with the vehicles. And so we're hoping to get a handle on that. Our department did purchase additional signage, close to $500 worth of signage, just to make sure, in working with the sheriff's office, that we had regulatory signs that they could cite. And so they've been really cooperative with us in working with citing individuals that are up there, and hopefully we're getting a handle on it. But right now we don't know. We were getting 2 at a time up there, and it was in the overnight hours. So hoping to get through that. Funding for our department, as far as like the federal freeze, the soft freeze that we've had, has not really affected our department. As far as that, the only thing that we have seen is we were in the application process for a Protect grant, and that one they did put on hold, not to say that it won't come back in later. That was for some planning and potential mitigation of over on the Moon Pass area and the St. Joe River corridor. So, with the rocks coming down, it would be important. It would be more of a planning program where it would be heavily engineered, and there would just be, these are the problem areas. This is what could be done with mitigation. So it would set us up better in the event of an emergency down the line. That data would be already have been collected, and it would put us in a good position if more federal funding came for grant applications. We would have turnkey applications ready to go. So it's not the end of the world if it doesn't happen, but it would be helpful if it did. So far, that's the only issue that we've seen with the kind of slowdown with the funding.
Okay, got any questions? Okay, on that, with the, is the FEMA, because we're going to do mitigation on.
That is still
that still
that
open?
is still a green light. So we have
Okay.
2 projects going in the near future up on Moon Pass. We have the springtime that's going to happen that is part of the emergency due to the slide that we have up
Okay.
here. We have the first cleanup portion, and then there's going to be a little bit of mitigation through federal highways. So the FEMA portion is just wrapping up. We actually submitted all of the final environmental last week, and so it has gone to obligation, and we should be seeing a check on that portion very soon, which is great. And then we'll work on the second part of that. The second project up over there is the Moon Pass tunnels and trestles.
Okay.
That's the one that's going to be presented to the board on Thursday, kind of the overview of that project. That one is still fully funded, and we're greenlit on that one.
Okay, so the FEMA project's still open, and that
Yes.
didn't stop.
Yeah,
Okay,
we've had
good.
no problems with that.
Okay, good. Okay. Cool.
Colleen Rawson, grants administrator. A lot of it's just maintaining right now, doing the reports that are needed for all the grants that are open. It'll soon be coming up for more grant season. We're getting up for that. And there's a couple we've got our eye on. There was 3 of them that were pulled off the table with the freeze, but they're no longer in funding options. So we'll just keep an eye on that. As far as all of my funding, it's all wait and see, move forward like there's no problems, and hopefully we'll be able to reimburse you on any of those. Thankfully, there's not many that I have that are reimbursements. So all the state ones, they've assured me that there's no problem with those. The gym and the RCIF. We're working on the gym here again pretty quick so that we're ready to hit the ground running as soon as we're able to put shovel the dirt off the river. And the RCIF is just finishing rural community investment. I'm sorry to get that jargon out. Trying not to do all that jargon. So the rural community investment fund, which was the Gold Chest mine, That's, the project is done. Now we're just in the part of tracking the employment. So they were required to do 6 high-paying jobs and retain 10 others at the high-paying and above median income for the county. They're well on their way to that, so we're just kind of in holding to keep track of those kind of things and keeping in contact with Commerce. And they love those updates. It looks good for them when they're reporting at the state. So it was definitely a good project. I did get word yesterday, so we met last week about going to the ITD conference. They fully funded my RTAP scholarship and did a turnaround as soon as we got done with that. So I'll be going to Kansas City in March, the 17th. And I've been talking with Jessica, so if there's any other departments that have burning questions about drug and alcohol compliance for FTA or DOT, CDL licensing, things like that, I'll be in front of those FTA people that week, and so I can get any questions answered or programs or processes. There's ITD asked me to go to that specifically for Silver Express, make sure that we stay in compliance because it's a little bit different than regular CDL license. They're not licensed drivers, CDL drivers. They're safety sensitive drivers, so because they're hauling people. And it's a short bus, so they don't have to have the CDLs, but they are still hauling people, and so they require the drug and alcohol testing and compliance. And so they asked me to go and make sure that that was a part of the compliance and application or grant process that we have with them for the 5311 funding. Kind of a side note on that, in talking to Shauna, so I know we brought Silver Express in, that was some of the conversation, was they were going to fund doing some studies, and she's been constantly after FTA to approve that. So the state of Idaho has 10 funding, I think it is, but she's trying to get the green light to just be able to use it as discretionary rather than having to go out to an application process. So we're still on the table to get funding to finish that study. I've done all the preliminary conversations with engineers on what that looks like to do a study, what the system should be, how many stops, how effective, that kind of thing. We did just yesterday get completed an evaluation of basically the cost of the bus based on the last couple of years of expenses for it. I'm running through that data right now. It's about 6 pages of Excel that has all these different data points for each route. So evaluating that and what it looks like for the cost of the bus, and then we'll just figure out the next steps from there. The ILED is going really, really well, and I won't steal your thunder, but we have 2 eligible participants that have been in there a year now, which is pretty exciting. They completed the program or in the process of it. It's expanded nicely out into probation services and assessments for the jail, so it's really just been a huge thing for the county to be able to help our, whether it's substance abuse or some of the mental issues, and get the assessments and get people in and out of the jail quicker and help people get the treatment that they need that's not really readily available in the county. So just groups, different cognitive therapies that are offered in the curriculum.
Now, how's the, we were looking at funding that, they were going to go out and do other funding. Mm-hmm. How's that coming with?
Jen and I we've been working through the process of becoming an accredited facility, which means that we can take private insurances. There's been kind of we'll wait and see what Magellan does, which is the Medicaid, Medicare's. But private insurance is definitely a viable thing because there are plenty of people that could help. That would bring its own revenue in and become a self-sustaining program that way.
Okay, when will we hear more about that? Is that just?
It's going to take probably 8 months to a year to get that completed, which is right about the time. So we've got 18 months left on the program. Mm-hmm. That's the intent. It'll all dovetail together. We'll have that completed. All of our systems running. Jen already has the billing software and capability that is just part of her client management system that she's using. So it's just transitioning and getting formally approved, and then making sure that we can get the billing done. And she's already got that started. So it'll all come together about the same time.
Okay. But will we have time? I mean, will they have time to show,
Yes.
it'll come together in 8 months, they'll have 10 months to show that they can pay for it.
That's the hope.
That's the
Yeah,
hope.
and you guys will be involved because we're going to bring it to you to say, here's what we've got going, and are you approving this becoming an accredited facility, and here's what it entails.
Okay.
And the intent is just, again, to make it self-sustaining and not cost anything but create its own revenue. It's a huge benefit in keeping people out of the justice system because of drug and alcohol addictions, or just getting them out of the jail quicker because we can do the assessments in-house. That's a huge cost saving for our justice system.
Okay. All right. P&Z?
Dan Martinson, Administrator for P&Z. Certainly, we've been super busy this winter. We're currently working on 8 subdivisions that are in some phase of being completed. So that keeps us pretty busy. We've 21 permits in the last 30, 40 days, which is unusual because we usually do 3, or 4 in the winter. And certainly, so we've been pretty busy with building permits. We've been working through a couple of ordinance deals with the state mandated. We adopt a Agricultural Protection Act overlay ordinance. So that's in the works. Got through P&Z with that, and that's on its way to the board. There's a couple other things that are coming out right now. There's a new area of city impact requirement from the state to redo those agreements with each of the cities. So that process is in the works to get each of the cities to let us know what they need for an area of city impact, and then those agreements will be put together, and eventually that's an ordinance that the county adopts for those. That needs to be done by the end of the year, so it'll take the next 6 or 8 months to get that process done, and we'll be steadily working on that. Building wise, like I said, we've been busy with permits. James has been working out real well with the building official side of a thing. We've transitioned out of using the consultant for very many things other than real high-end and complicated things, and so that's worked out real well. That now we're utilizing our own person, our own funds, and our own certification, so that's working out real well. Also, as emergency manager, the other part of it, what I do is the real key thing is we would updated our emergency operations plan. That's coming back before you tomorrow for finalization. So that's a big step in getting that done. The application has been submitted to IOEM for hazard mitigation grant that will help us pay for a consultant that will help the county rewrite their all hazards mitigation plan. And so we'll know probably in the next 60 days whether or not we're funded for that, and then we go out in the process for finding the consultant and then starting that process. So that was kind of a big step. And that's about it. And we're not flooded.
Yeah, not today.
We got high water. It usually happens in March or April, but we have high water. At least over here, where the hydrographs are showing that we've got elevated water, but we're not near flooding.
Okay.
But that, certainly means people should be wary, should be watching the weather. Things change, and the small creeks and streams you should be watching those things, because those are the ones that get jammed up with debris and then start flooding people's yards.
Okay. All right, Mike.
Good morning, Mike Smith, Administrator for Probation Services. I'll tag on to the ILED program that Colleen was discussing. We have the 3 participants. 2 are in the process of graduation, and then the first process is they're going to develop an aftercare plan and present that to the ILED team. And after that process, the team will discuss the cases individually and decide if they're prepared to graduate. And then we'll have a court hearing and set a graduation and how that process will work. Real excited. They've done some really good work. They have over almost a year sober for one of them, and the other one does have a year sober. So fantastic work. And the other one is still working hard on his program. So very pleased with their efforts. So excited to see this program grow. We'd love to have, I know it's kind of a double-edged sword because that means someone has to get in trouble, but we're prepared to take more people on and work with them. And I'm excited. Christy and Jen do a great job. Christy's the case manager in my office, and Jen, of course, is the treatment provider who's done an outstanding job with each individual. They've also taken on, Jen has worked with the misdemeanor probation caseload. We have currently 12 people working either in groups or in individual sessions, which has been a major change in how we do our work. Having people enter the programming quicker, getting resources and getting their lives moved in a different direction. Since we've lost the Kellogg Restored Pass and no longer have a provider, that Jen is filling in that gap for us. At least a provider in the local area in Shoshone County. We do access Restored Pass through the St. Mary's office, through satellite Zoom meetings with our treatment court folks. But they also, another important thing that's just started in the last few weeks is Jen's hosting a support meeting for folks, and it's a voluntary thing. I think there's been 4 or 5 people at the start on Friday afternoons using the space there provided for the ILED program. So it's a good access of that program and working with folks on kind of aftercare programming. So we're excited to have that started and get that resource. Juvenile probation, which is one of the most head-scratching one that I have, is we currently have 9 active supervision cases, which is the lowest I've ever seen in over 30 years. We have 3 diversion and 7 unsupervised that we keep track of their truancy and make sure they're going to school. And we also have 10 petitions that are pending for court. So either somewhere in the process of being adjudicated. So treatment court, we have 8 people that are actively in there doing fantastic. They're between the 2nd and 3rd and 4th phase now. So we're going to be preparing for some graduations in late spring. I look forward to that. It's always an exciting time, and it's been really good to see that those folks are doing positive things and have been sober, and everybody's been doing well for about 3 months. Everyone's been on track and there's been no issues. We do have one of the individuals is currently in inpatient treatment at the Walker Center in southern Idaho, and they're scheduled to be completed by the 5th of March. So we're excited to have him rejoin us. And he's doing well and ready to get back to the community and do positive things. So we're excited about that. Pre-trial is a program that we've had for a few years where we're assisting court with testing. We provide testing for anybody that's released from jail with the condition of testing. And we do the testing either in our office or with absolute testing in Kellogg. Misdemeanor probation has 44 supervised clients also that we work with on a daily basis. So that's a rundown of the numbers and with our probation services. So we're staying busy and summer's almost here, at least spring. So we're kind of happy. It was nice to feel 50 degrees again. The last thing I want to do is give a personal kudos to the transfer station and the transportation. The roads department, I'll say, likely not just Idaho. But I appreciate going to the transfer station. Your staff was well informed. They assisted us with the getting the yearly tag that we needed, and I appreciated the professionalism. So it's a good job. And I always want to do the road department because I know you guys tend to get a beating in the wintertime, but I live on Sunny Slopes. And I really appreciate the work that you've done up there this year. I know that it's been always a struggle, but I felt safe driving on that road, and it was always prepared and ahead of time that I didn't have any concerns. So we didn't get stuck on it any. So I appreciate that. Thank you guys very much.
Bill
McLeod, Fire Mitigation Program Manager. I'll start out with the grants. Most of the grants right now are on hold because 3/4 of my grants are federal money. What we've been hearing is some of them will probably be rebranded and put out again. So we're kind of waiting to see if that happens. If they do that, we're probably looking at 6 to 8 months before we'll be able to do anything with them. I don't think the feds will work any faster than that. If they do, I'll be surprised. The other one is the state came out with a new grant this year. I have to read it to you because I can't remember it all. The longer the title, the scarier it is. This is called the Private Landowners Protection, Resilience, and Restoration Assistance Grant. And that is state money. If we get the grant, we'll get a full $500,000. And then the way I'm going to set it up, I'm going to be able to use it anywhere in the county instead of just one specific area. We should know the grant has to be in by the 7th of March, the proposal. My proposal will go to the state today or tomorrow, and then they'll push it on down to Boise.
Okay.
And like I say, we should know May, June, in that time frame, if we're going to get that money.
So the grants for this summer are kind of on hold. Our work that we're supposed to perform during the summer, is that going to be held up quite a bit because of we're not going to get started as early?
Some of the projects that we've already started, it'll hold those up. If we do get the $500,000, we'll be working on that money instead of the federal money, and we'll get work done, but will be our usual.
Okay.
Monies that we normally use.
Okay. All right. Anything further?
Nope, that's it.
You have anything further?
Well, he answered what I was going to ask, so.
Public comment?
Matt Bena. I just have trying to get some information. I see we've done a lot of work on Friday Avenue. I'm trying to find out what we've been doing up there. A lot of engineering work.
As far as like what my department has been doing. So there have been a few things that we've looked at. Anytime they've done some new approaches up there and access areas, and so whenever we have a business or a company where they're doing anything that could be an approach that's used differently as residential, we will bring in an engineer to have that looked at rather than just our staff that's doing that. We did do a little bit of work where we partnered with Hecla on redoing a culvert up there by General Annie in that area, and they actually footed the bill, but even though they have their own engineers, we like everything to be reviewed by our county contracted engineers, and so those would be the types of things that we would have looked at by our county contracted engineer. But as far as like us doing work on that road, we haven't done any specific projects on that road. We have not put any money into that road for improvements.
Okay. Anything further?
Nope.
No. All right. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Sounds like you guys are doing a great job, and we appreciate it. Anything from you?
No, not.
Okay. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.